just another day, you know.
Wait, I honestly didn't know that Theory of a Dead band still a band, because I only know like maybe one or two songs.
We talked about that, yeah. I was like, because they changed styles so much on their new album, this album and the last one. I'm like, did you guys just get sick of being pigeonholed and stereotyped as the bad girlfriend band? He's like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we did. So he's like, we're sick of it. I'm like, okay, let's not be bitter. So, you know.
I mean, that's fair, you know, because I think they're kind of up there with Buck Cherry, because Buck Cherry just got, like, you know, the Crazy Bitch song.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Buck Cherry, like, 8 times, and, like, I wanted to see them no times. They just were there. So it's like, you know, it was like a Rock on the Range or, like, any festival. I was like, well, I mean, they're playing, so there's nothing else.
That's literally me with, like, half the bands that I photographed is, like...
Yeah.
Oh, God, what? I can't even remember. There's one band. Oh, like Moth to Flames. I have seen them so many times, and I just, like, cannot get into their music or into their performance, but they are somehow on every fucking bill.
Five Finger Death Punch was that way for...
mid-level metalcore band.
Well, Five Finger Death Punch was that way for my friend, one of my photographers, and my friend out in Baltimore. She's like, last year, in May, we were at Sonic Temple, and she's like, this is the year. I said, what? She's like, this is the year I'm not going to see Five Finger fucking Death Punch for the first time ever. And I'm so excited. And then I can't remember what it was, or maybe in the year before. And then they announced like a festival that she was going to be shooting. She's like, God damn it, they're on the goddamn festival. They won't stop. I was like, yeah, you're right, they won't. So
the first publication assignment I ever had for Stitch Sound, because I started there, I think, like almost 2 years ago, and Jess and Nina wanted us to do like 2 assignments per month, and I'm always running around doing like whatever freelancing. Because I got on at the end of July, and so most people had requested shows out until like September. So the only thing that I could find for August to do that wasn't already taken was Five Finger Death Punch and Breaking Benjamin.
Oh.
And I was like, I cannot stand Five Finger Death Punch. But Breaking Benjamin I can get behind.
It's the other way around for me. Like, I'm not a Breaking Ben fan, but I like Five Finger. And one of my cousins in Iowa is the biggest Breaking Ben fan ever. And, oh my God, like, I love her, but like, can you pick any shittier of, like, I mean, he sounds like he's yawning when he sings, you know?
I've never heard it described like that, but you know what? I can kind of get behind it.
Yeah, it's like, you can't see him. Like, I mean, I mean, I'm just not a Breaking Ben. I don't hate him, but like, I like when I saw them last year, like I went for all the openers. It was a 3 Days Grace and Chevelle tour, and like my buddy and I were just sitting during Breaking Ben, standing there and had my arms crossed, and the lady next to me is like, "Geez, don't look so excited." It's like, I'm not. It's like, how can you not be excited? I'm like, this is my 4th time seeing them this year, and it's July. She's like, this is my 22nd time seeing them in the last year or 2. I said,
Jesus Christ.
I think Ben was talking, and I was like, why the fuck would you see this band that many times?
Yeah, I've only seen them the one time, and it was that tour. And I grew up listening to like, those songs, Diary of Jane, and Breath, and all that stuff. And a lot of my friends at this point have like seen that band a couple times. They're like, yeah, they're not that great live. They're whatever, blah blah blah. So I like going. I'm not really expecting much. I'm just like there to see them play the hits. And you know, that was when Klitsch was because they didn't do this to us at Blink-182, but pretty much like they lead you into the photo pit and then they pull you back out and you have to like lock your stuff in a room. Yeah, you can't like take your stuff into the crowd. And I'm just like, that's fair. Like, I'm not going to shoot from the crowd because I'm not going to be dumb like that and get caught. But, like, you know, having to walk all the way back to the media room, which they don't even have that room anymore.
No, it's a trailer.
Yeah, and maybe I'm paranoid, but I think that trailer had fleas the last time I was in it. Like, I felt something crawling on me. It was so gross in there.
It could have just been sweat from the summer.
Yeah, that's true, because it was July 3rd, hot. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, God, it was so hot. It was, and I was the only person that did not get the email, because I went through the publicist, not through Live Nation.
Oh.
So I hit her up at noon the day of the show, and I'm just like, I guess I'm not approved. So I'm literally, like, laying down, about to take a nap, like 5 p.m., and I get an email. She's like, I approved you days ago. You should have gotten an email from the venue yesterday. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And so I grab all my stuff, 5 o'clock traffic. I get up there. I'm actually the first photographer to get there, which, you know, that's my anxiety. That's my anxiety in a nutshell.
Oh, my God.
I was so scared that traffic was going to take longer than it did, but it took me 40 minutes to get there.
That's not bad.
No, because, like, Noblesville from my house is a 40-minute drive. So I was, like, factoring in traffic. I thought it would take over an hour, and I pull up there, and I'm like, oh, shit, I really got here that early, didn't I? But I get there, and Christian Sarkeen texted me, and he's like, you know, it's soundboard, right? And I'm like, no, and I'm looking at my tiny little 50.
Oh, I remember that. I was at that show with you. That's right.
God,
oh,
it was such a nightmare. I wanted to cry.
I was in such a bad mood at that show.
Me too.
Because I spent the day down at the Pacers Summer League covering that, and I looked at Brian. I was like, I really don't want to go see Lil Wayne tonight now. I'm just tired. And he's like, no, it'll be fine. It's like, okay. And I got there, I was just like, it's soundboard, it's a rap show, and it's why is Blink-182 from the board? This is bullshit. This is horrible. I hate concerts. And I'm just like I'm that veteran photographer that bitches about everything now for no reason. I'm like, it was better the way it was. Why did you move it?
I was mostly mad that Neck Deep was from the soundboard because, like,
yeah, but they were good that day though. They didn't do shit on stage.
No, they just like
it's like they didn't want. It's like they didn't want to be. Their singer I think their bass player, one of their guitar players was all over the place, but their singer didn't do shit. And maybe it was because there was no photographers, but he just did not look happy to be there. Like,
no, and I mean, I don't blame him because, like, Neck Deep being on a tour that big, like, it's great exposure for them. And, like, yeah, they have a pretty decent-sized fan base, but to be on a tour that big and then being maybe not that big is probably what contributed to that.
There was a lot of drama on that tour, though, like, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Lil Wayne was a dick on that tour, I think. So maybe they just weren't. Maybe they thought it was going to be better than it was, and it just, maybe they just, because they're used to, like, the smaller club or, like, Hoosier Dome style shows and, like, Warped Tour and stuff like that. Like, they're not used to. That might be the biggest U.S. tour they've done up to that point, I think. Maybe they've done other big ones, but, like, for something that, with it being the Blink-182, like, anniversary tour and stuff, like, maybe it just wasn't what they thought it would be, and maybe they had to go on before Lil Wayne, and maybe they're like, why?
They're like, we have a small backdrop. We don't even have a production. We're just going to, like, come up here and play 6 songs, and that's it.
Right.
And then, like, everyone else has, like, an hour-and-a-half long set.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure they were happy to be on the tour, but and maybe it was just that date. Maybe it was just, I mean, who knows we've all been backstage. I mean, who knows what was going on back there, like, that day. Maybe their shit got cut. Maybe they were just, maybe they got a contact high from Lil Wayne a little bit too much and weren't feeling good. I mean, who knows?
Well, I know Lil Wayne was having a fun time at that show because he's like, this is the biggest crowd I've had this whole tour. And I'm like, are you for real, dude?
Well, it's a weird tour, though. Like, it was a weird, it was like when Volbeat was playing with Slipknot, like, and Behemoth. It's like, why are they on this tour? Like, no, I wasn't mad about it, but I was like, Volbeat doesn't fit with Gojira and Behemoth. It just, it was like, it didn't make sense, It's one of the tours that's announced is like, wait, why? Why is this a thing? So how long have you been shooting for?
I've been shooting for 3.5 years.
Okay.
4 years in September 11th.
Well, that's a good date.
That's the date.
That's a great anniversary.
Yeah, I know. I always make my post on like September 10th or the 12th because I cannot. I'm just like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
The first show I ever shot was Ice Nine Kills at the Emerson on their Hell in the Hallways tour, where they all have like the prom tuxedos.
Oh, nice.
Everyone like dressed up, and they played at the Emerson.
Oh,
and that was really cool.
Ooh.
But those photos, I posted like 50 photos on Facebook, and they are all so, oh my God, I don't know. Somebody should have stopped me.
Yeah, I had the same thing where I moved all of my front row photos, all of my personal photos to Smug Mugs from Flickr. And like, it's so funny to like go back and like you can literally see, like you can pinpoint when I figured out how to take pictures. Like, I'm like, why did people tell me these were good? Like, it's like, these are so bad. I'm like, am I good now? People are saying I'm good. Am I good now? Because, I mean, it's the same thing, you know.
I know, you can't trust anybody.
I know, except for my mother-in-law back then. She's like, I've seen your photos, and they're not that good. And looking back, I was like, yeah, I'm not even mad. They really weren't any good, you know. So, I mean, it's so funny to go. Well, for one, the Emerson was hard to shoot at to begin with. I mean,
for sure.
Like, I was talking to Maya Tolliver earlier this week, and I told her this kind of the same thing. It's like, when I bring on photographers, I start them at like the Hoosier Dome or the Emerson or something like that. Because if you can figure out how to shoot there, you can shoot anywhere. Like, if you can get that thing down, and she's like, yeah, I'm glad I started at the Emerson and the Hoosier Dome. So it's like, man, it's so bad, but it's, you know, they had good shows, though. Like, it was a piece of shit building. Probably not now, but it, like, they brought it. Is it still bad?
Yeah, I think so. Like, their photo pit now, because I did WeCar there, and the photo pit was literally pushed damn near right up against the stage, and there was like a riser in between that and the stage.
How are you supposed to get anything?
I know, like we were all sitting like on our knees, we're like crisscross, like shooting these bands, and the lights were fucking horrible. And Dayseeker, I was there shooting for them, and it was all, there was no backlighting, it was all front lighting, which is like cool, but like there was nothing in the back to make the photos really pop.
Well, they got rid of that giant wooden staircase to the door that was off to the side too, I think. That's where I always shot from. I shot from the stairs in the back and at stage left, you know, because you could shoot over the crowd and it usually looked badass because there was no pit for a while. And I'm not going to shoot in the pit. I'm not going to shoot from the crowd in an OTEP concert. Just not going to happen.
I remember the night they put that photo pit in there because I usually hang out at Jay Clyde's, and it was back when like all my friends still worked there, like before, I think it was maybe a couple months before they moved over to the Citadel. I came in one night and they were just like, hey, go next door to the Emerson, there's a fun surprise in there. And I'm like, what is it? They're like, just go look. So I did. They had the back door open and I walk in and they're like, you like the new photo pit? And I'm like, I'm going to cry.
You're like, it's not a photo pit, but it's something, you know.
Like, this is, I was so fucking stoked.
Wait, it was an actual barricade, I guess, wasn't it? Like, it was, it was actually one of the better ones in Indy, outside of the Egyptian room. I mean, yeah, I forgot about, I haven't been to the Emerson in like 2 years. So, I mean, it's been a while. I think Escape the Fate was the last show I did at the Emerson. I can't remember. Yeah, it was Escape the Fate, The Fame, and, oh God, whatever the last band Johnny, what's his face was in but left Slaves.
Oh, Slaves?
Yeah, it might have been Slaves. I can't remember. It was Escape the Fate. I think it was Escape the Fate, Slaves, The Fame, and Picturesque or something. Yeah.
I remember that tour. I think Jeremy Keeney was on that tour.
I think so. I'm not good with that. I'm not good with scene band names. Just ask Lindsay Davis. I like dad rock. Just ask Lindsay. I think she was at that show. She's like, didn't expect to see you here. I was like, what's that supposed to mean? She's like, you only do dad rock, like Five Finger Death Punch. It's like, thanks. Yeah. So who are you shooting for? Like, what made you get into concert photography? Like, what made you decide that that's what you wanted to do?
Oh man, I can't even like pinpoint the moment. I just I don't know. A couple of years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, I started going to shows. Like I got all these financial aid refunds from school, and I'm just like, shit, I can go to concerts now. And
yes,
because like my whole life, like I've always wanted to go, but it's been like I didn't have any friends. I grew up with like no friends.
No one wants to be the
shows.
one at the show by themselves. Like nobody wants to be that person.
Well, now I don't mind because like most of the shows I show up to, like there's a handful of people there that I know, and if I don't know them, it's fine because like I'm usually just shooting a show now, so if I go there, like I'm still shooting after the first 3, like from the crowd. So if I go with someone, they're like, "Yeah, we didn't really get to hang out during the show," and I'm like,
"Yeah, that is the part that sucks about taking people because it's like, that's why sometimes it's hard bringing people to like Sonic Temple because it's like I feel like bad leaving them, and then because for one I'm leaving them, but I'm leaving them to go closer than they can go too, you know. So I feel like a dick at the same time, you know.
And then like right after you shoot one band, you gotta run over to the stage for the next band.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's 6 o'clock, and all of the people that you're there to see are already drunk, and you can't actually have the conversation with them.
Yeah, they're singing the wrong song during the show, and then, you know, it's like they're yelling for like the deep cuts that nobody gives a shit about, and then one of them's trying to fight like the trash can or somebody else, and then you're just like, why did I fucking bring you to the show? Why are we here?
And then you got that one friend that's in the middle of the crowd getting stoned, and you go and find them, and maybe they'll share it with you.
That was me during Alice in Chains at Rock on the Range a few years ago. We were just in the crowd because I wasn't able to shoot that year, and like somebody started passing something around. I was like, all right. My buddy's like, dude, you're driving after this. I was like, oops. So
it was second day of Sonic Temple. I was standing in the crowd, like it was Plot and You was the first band of the day, I think, and it's already like 80 degrees outside. It was the nicest day the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And my friends handed me their dab pen, and I'm just like, all right, cool, took a couple hits, and then I walked into the photo pit, and I'm like, where the fuck am I?
No.
What's going on?
I did that at Pierre's in Fort Wayne years ago.
Oh, God.
Actually, it was during a Buck Cherry concert. Actually,
oh my God.
It was Buck Cherry and Otherwise, and I can't remember what. Oh man, it was like strong, like high level stuff. Because I remember, like that was the first time I did that. Went into the photo pit, and the first like bass line hit from Otherwise, I was like, oh God. Like I was sitting in the pit because I could like any like heavy bass would just like knock me. I was like, what? Why did we do that before this? Oh my God, I'm going to die. I think I texted my buddy. I was like, I'm going to die. He's like, you're not going to die. I was like, I'm going to die. He's like, you're not going to die. Like, you try this. He's like, no, I'm good. I don't want to. I was like this is a horrible idea. It's so bad.
Shit, when I did that We Car show, I got there early, and my friend was bartending that night, so I was like, I'm nervous about shooting tonight, so I'm just going to get really drunk, and that's going to make everything better.
No.
No,
it did not.
I tripped and fell in that photo pit at least 3 times. I fell over while, like, crouching down. I think my flash went off at 1.2.
Oh, no.
I don't remember. I felt so bad. I was like, Jesus Christ. But security there isn't like, you know, they're not going to, like, drag you out. And they didn't even pull us out after the first 3 songs.
There's security there now? They never had it when I shot there.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
They've had security there, but the security there now is, like, I don't know. I wouldn't say they're more rough, but they still pat everyone down who, like, even if you just step outside to, like, smoke a cigarette and they see you, and you come back in, they'll still pat you down. So I'm like, I didn't go anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
Oh, so they're new security guards. This is like security guards was like their first show then. Oh, those are the worst. The Vogue can be a little rough sometimes with security, I think. I mean, yeah, it's always like the smaller shows, you know. They're either really strict or they're not. I think I did a show at Pierre's once where I didn't have a photo pass, and I just told security, like, yeah, they didn't have a pass. Oh, okay, cool. I walked up, I was like, is it cool that I'm up here without my pass? He's like, you got up here, didn't you? I said, yeah. He's like, all right, you're good then. It's like, nice. Okay. Well, I guess I could have just made this up. So.
Damn, the first show I ever did at Pierre's, it was Under Oath and Dance Gavin Dance.
Nice.
And still, I was the first photographer to show up there. And they were like, yeah, we don't have a photo pass list. They're like, we didn't get one. They didn't even bother to go and check, like, nothing. And they're like, can you show me an email? Well, I didn't have the email on my, like, link to my phone. And I couldn't remember the password because it was like a password that my laptop had set up for me. So I'm like, yeah, I can't remember that. So I'm like using my phone as a hotspot, sitting on the ground with my laptop, trying to pull it up. And she's like, you can't sit there and do that. And I was like, you said you wanted to see the email. And there's at least 6 other photographers I know that are about to show up who are all going to be asking me the same question. And so this guy walks up. He's like, what you doing? I'm like, trying to find an email from Under Oath's publicist. And he was like, oh, are you shooting tonight? I'm like, well, I'm supposed to, but she says that there's no photographers tonight. And he literally pulled up his phone, pulled up the list, and was like, yep, you're on there. Showed it to her. She got so shitty.
It was their TM, wasn't it?
No, it was like the head security guard.
Oh, gotcha.
But Under Oath TM did save, well, their merch guy saved my ass a year ago because I went and shot them somewhere in Columbus. It was like a tiny, tiny room, like 500 cap.
Jiffy Lube?
No, it was a place where they like hold weddings or like proms or something.
Oh, I've been there.
Not the Coliseum. It starts with the C. I
think I've been there. Yeah.
Or it's the Athenaeum Theater.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
yeah.
I think they did the Corey Taylor roast in like 2014 before Rock on the Range there. So I've been there. Yeah, that was a weird night.
Yeah.
It was a very, very weird night.
They had a band opening for them that was local, all instrumental, and they said they have their own guy, no photographers. It's like, okay. And then security dude was like, you guys can only shoot the first 2 Under Oath songs, and that's it. And so there's only like 4 of us. We're trying to get into the photo pit, and he's like, yeah, I don't think you guys can shoot this, actually. I haven't heard from their TM, and my phone is dead. So didn't bother to go and do anything, and everyone's sitting there, and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this. Went up to their merch guy. I've never done anything like this before. I got real ballsy. I felt really weird doing it. But I was like, hey, because he wasn't busy, and I was like, hey, dude, look, there's a couple photographers here. We were all approved to shoot Under Oath tonight, but security, he said his phone is dead, and he says that he doesn't think we're allowed to shoot because the tour manager said so. I was like, we're just wondering what's up. He's like, oh, yeah, I'll go check on that for you. And so go back in there, see him running backstage, and then the tour manager comes up, gets in the security guard's face. Like, I don't think he was, like, yelling at him or anything, but he just, like, got in his face for a minute, and then he was like, all right, you guys get first 3, no flash. And I'm like, damn straight we do.
The best feeling in the world for me is, like, and you've had this, I'm sure, too, like, when you have all of your shit, you have your pass, your, like, Old National Center, or, you know, Bankers. I know you haven't done many Bankers live shows, but like the bigger shows or the Egyptian shows, like you have all your shit, you have your photo pass, you have all that stuff, and security's like, no, you can't take that camera. And you're like, bam, photo pass, I can. Yes. You know, and they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's right, security guard, back off. I can shoot this. Yeah, it's like the best feeling ever. He's like, stand down, man. I'm going. You know.
Dude, there was one time I was going through there, and I showed them my photo pass, and they were going through, and sometimes I take my laptop, sometimes I don't. If I, like, am going to the bar afterwards to, like, work on photos and chill for a minute, then I'll take it with me. But so I had my laptop with me one night, and I think it was when I shot Bayside, and they were going through, they never check the back compartment. It's always there. And they did that night. And she was like, you can't take your laptop in there. And I was like, I have a photo pass. She was like, you still can't bring your laptop in. And I was like, it's never been a problem before. And she looks over at this lady. She's like, she says that she has a photo pass, but I don't think she can take her laptop in. She's like, no, she's fine. She can take it in there.
You can take anything in when you have a photo pass.
Right.
Honestly.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had security guards tell me I can't take my camera in when I have it. They're like, no, you can't take it in. I'm like, I have a photo pass. Like, no, you still can't. I'm like, it's a photo pass. They're like, nope, no cameras. I said, I have a photo pass. They're like, there's no photographers. I'm like, obviously there are. I have a photo pass. It's like, no. I was like,
right.
I was like, okay, I'm going in, and you can find me later. It's like, securities can be either the best or the fucking worst. I mean,
and their box office at the old National Center gets a little frustrating too. Like, I did. I don't think it was it wasn't the first time I shot in Deluxe, but I did Silent Planet and the Contortionist there. Ooh. And I got listed through Silent Planet, and they always leave a photo pass and a ticket for me, like, whatever. And one of my friends was their sound guy at the time, and he's like, yeah, you're all taken care of, you're good for the night. And I'm like, okay. I get there, and they give me a photo pass, and I'm like, but where's the ticket? They're like, we don't have one for you. And I'm like, well, you should, because I know that I have one. And they're like, well, we don't have one. And I'm like, okay. So I call him, and I felt so bad. Their TM was, like, trying to eat, and I guess he left. And then by the time I was like, JK, they just printed one off and gave it to me. And then he went back to get it. I felt so bad, though. I'm like, I'm sorry.
I had something like that at Papa Roach, where I was supposed to have 2 tickets, and luckily the person that was going to go with me decided not to go. When I got there, they had nothing. And I showed the lady the email. She's like, okay, well, I'll give you the photo pass, but I don't have any tickets. I said, what?
What the fuck?
She's like, yeah, they only gave me photo passes. I said, but I'm supposed to have tickets. Like, well, I don't have them. I was like, show's sold out. She said, I know. So I called the tour manager, and I said, so I don't have any tickets. He said, yeah, that's right. I said, but I think it was, her name started with K at 11-7. I cannot remember her name right now. She's not there anymore. Katrina or something like that, or cannot remember her name. Carissa. And I'm like, well, Carissa said I was supposed to have tickets. She's like, nope. I changed it. We no tickets. I said, okay, so can I still shoot? He said, only if you have a ticket. I said, but I don't have a ticket. He's like, I know. I said, how do I get in? He said, I don't know. I said, will the photo pass get me in? He said, no. I said, okay, so how do I shoot the show? He said, I don't know. Figure it out. I'm like, oh, okay.
Damn.
I walked up to security. I said, so I have a photo pass. Like, oh, okay, go on in. I said, what? Really? Like, yeah, go on in. I said, all right. Like, I've had horrible experiences at Old National. It's just, oh my God, it's so bad.
The first time I got to shoot Bring Me to Her, the only time I got to shoot Bring Me to Horizon, show was sold out. Yeah. And I got the email like 3 hours before the show. I mean, like, I was on the edge of my, like, literally, this is what the edge of your seat was made for, waiting on a photo pass to shoot your favorite fucking band.
Exactly.
And I'm like, like shaking. I'm like so excited. I'm like, oh my God, all of your sex is about to be in my face. I'm going to cry. And I get there and they give me the photo pass. And I'm like, what about a ticket? They're like, no ticket. And I was like, this email says a ticket. And they're like, well, we don't have one. I'm like, well, then can I just buy one? They're like, no, the show's sold out. And I'm like, but I'm supposed to have one. This is I didn't go on a whole tirade, but I'm like, this is my favorite band.
Yeah,
I have waited like 6 years for this moment, because Bring Me the Horizon is really what got me. Like, them and A Day to Remember, just seeing all their photos online is really like what started it for me. So I'm like, this is a huge deal. Like, I have to do this. And she like got all huffy and then went and printed a ticket off for me. I'm like, damn straight. But you will not fuck up my vibe tonight.
You do know that the Egyptian room you can shoot with just a photo pass, right?
I did not know that. Honestly, that's how it should be everywhere. Like, you shouldn't have to ask for a photo pass and a ticket. Your photo pass should just be your ticket.
The majority of the concerts there, a photo pass acts as a ticket.
That's tight. Yeah. Because I don't like the whole...
Yeah.
Like people just going in to shoot the first 3, but if you don't have a ticket, you don't get to stay for the rest of the show.
Oh, yeah, you do. They're not going to kick you out.
Well, there are some, I'm just speaking about, venues in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, Chicago is different. That's just how it is here.
Chicago will do that.
Yeah, that's just how it is
here. It's a lot more
here.
lax.
It is. Yeah. And I've shot in Chicago, and it's, oh, my God, you're stressed before you even get into the show.
Well, mostly because of the traffic, but...
Exactly. Oh, my God. I've shot him. I've shot Skillet. I've shot... Oh, my God. And just, getting to the show, I was just like, they better play this fucking song for me dealing with this. And they don't, because no one cares, So I know the answer to this question, but I want to know more than just one. Bucket list bands that you haven't shot or seen before. And I know one of them.
Oh, bucket list bands.
I guess bucket list bands that aren't My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, you got me. Definitely, absolutely My Chemical Romance. Hopefully, hopefully that
it'll
happen.
It'll happen, and I bet they play Louder Than Life this fall. It won't surprise me if they do.
Oh my God, that would be so sick.
I know the Chili Peppers and Metallica are playing, and I think Green Day is. I think those are some of the headliners.
Well, Green Day is also NPR, Green Day, Fall Out Boy. Right now, Polaris is also.
That's one that you can. That's one that you can get though. That's one that I think you can. That you can probably get them all, but that's one that's more realistic to get because
it really is.
They're smaller.
Yeah, but they've been over here in the States a couple times, but I just got into them because of that album they released. But I've looked up some of the shows that they played in Australia, and they have this insane production over there. I don't think they ever bring it with them over here.
Yeah, probably not.
But I'd love to go shoot them in Australia for sure.
Gotcha.
Other bucket list? Paramore. Sorry, I have to shoot Paramore. I literally... The last time they came through Indy, everybody was getting responses but me, and I was literally I think I got their publicist 4 or 5 times.
I got denied. I got shot down right away. But I've also said, I've also vocally expressed how much I don't like Paramore online, and I think, yeah.
Well, I vocally expressed how much I love Paramore. They didn't want to create fangirl in their photo pit. I don't blame them.
That's how I got blacklisted by Black Veil Brides. So
you got blacklisted by Black Veil Bride?
I got Black Veil Bride listed. Yes.
Oh
yes, I got black. Yes, and it wasn't even my fault. I was just agreeing with I was just agreeing with somebody. It was six, 7 years ago, and I was supposed to do a photo with Andy over the phone because it was the tour they came through Indy with Falling in Reverse and Motionless in White. It was the Black Mass tour or whatever, and I posted that
sounds like a shit show of a tour, honestly.
It was, I would have been miserable, probably, just because of the fans. Just, oh my God, those girls. Why do girls scream at the top of their lungs for a certain, I don't get it. But, I posted, I had an interview with Devin Townsend and an interview with Andy. Coming up, and one of my friends had posted or commented that that Andy's a dick, and and went on a rant about his rant at the Golden Globes Awards, and I just commented jokingly, "LOL, I know, right? I should ask him about that, about how And apparently another indie photographer, I don't think he's shooting anymore, but he saw the post and sent it to the fans' management.
Oh, my God.
And within 20 minutes of that post being up, I got an email from Kevin, the publicist, saying, "Hey, buddy, I really hate to do this, but I have to pull the interview and also pull your ticket and photo pass from the show in Indy because," and he sent me a screenshot. He said, "Somebody saw this and sent it to the band, and they're pissed." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, man, I'm really sorry." I said, "All right, that sucks, but okay." So.
Yeah. Well, now they don't even let Black Veil Brides doesn't approve any photographers or anything.
Yeah.
Which is whatever. I shot Andy Black when he did his thing at Warped Tour, but honestly, Black Veil Brides is so. I would have rather shot them during their Set the World on Fire days when they had like the whole theatrics.
Oh yeah, all
now
the
they're
mega.
just like
they're just another band
play
now.
butt rock. Yeah, they're it still blows my mind that like that tour they did with Asking Alexandria and Crown the Empire came through the Egyptian Room and actually had a decent crowd. Yeah, I think it was sold out.
It was packed.
I ended up with free tickets for it, and I don't know how that happened.
Black Veil's fucking huge. I mean, they have songs that I don't hate. They have a few songs that are okay. I've never been a huge fan. I shot them at Warped Tour, and that's why I wasn't pissed. Like, I shot them during the day outside, so I wasn't horribly mad about not being able to shoot them at the Egyptian Room, because you know how bad that was going to be.
Right.
But it's like, it was just kind of like, and I knew who it was that did it, and that's what pissed me off the most, and I was just like, really, dude? Really? I gave you your first show you ever did,
Damn,
yeah.
That's petty.
I gave him his start into concert photography, and I was like, really? I'm not going to forget this, so I mean, it pissed me off, but I mean, what was the last show you did before the pandemic hit? Because we're going on like a fucking month of no concerts. Like,
I think the last show I did was the We Came as Roman show. I mean, I went and saw like the day that Live Nation canceled.
That was the week before it, yeah.
Yeah, and I actually went and saw Have Mercy play at the Hoosier Dome for the last time, but it was so hot in there, and I was just like so anxious and upset about everything that I spent most of the show like outside, just like chain smoking cigarettes or talking to people.
Yeah.
Some of my friends had literally had been on the road like that day, got the call that their tour was canceled, so they came home, and the thing is Dome is home. Like, everybody there is homies, everybody there is friends. You go there not knowing anyone, and you come out with 10 new friends.
That's
no matter what show it is.
Yeah.
Right. And I just went there, that was my go-to comfort place. And so everyone there, people thought the show was canceled. It's a sold-out show, and there's hardly anyone there.
Yeah.
And it was such a weird mood. It was a weird vibe because everyone's just like, what the hell? And Andrea is freaking out because, well, she wasn't freaking out. She actually kept the rest of us calm. God bless her. But she's like, I'm not canceling any shows. And then she's seeing things on Twitter about bands canceling the rest of their tours, not even notifying their booking agents.
Yeah.
And so she sees it on Twitter from these bands before she's even notified. And she's like, shit.
Well, I remember seeing a post from them saying we're not planning on canceling any shows, and this was after sports were gone. They're like, nope, we're going to keep going. I was like, sweet, okay. Well, what's the Hoosier Dome got coming up? Because I can't do anything,
Right, and then all the bands just canceled their shows.
Yeah.
The Hoosier Dome didn't cancel anything. It was all the bands, and then because they were right at that was when you could still have a crowd of 250, I think, and the Hoosier Dome is right below that.
Yeah, because they said that all of our shows. Yeah, they said our building capacity is less than the limit of people, so right now we can stay going.
Yeah.
So, and then they lowered it to 20, and they're like, all right, we got to go. We're done.
Well, hey, local bands could still play at that point.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, which it's fun. At this point, I'll take a local band. I don't care. I don't care who it is. Well, I mean, I actually was supposed to do that We Came as Roman show. Madison was approved for it, and then she texted me. I was in the Big Ten shooting the Big Ten women's basketball tournament, and she's like, "Can you shoot this for me on Saturday?" I can't. I'm sick. And I said, maybe. I don't know, because it depends on who wins the games. If our teams lose out, then yeah, I probably can. And then I ended up having other plans, so I couldn't go. But that was supposed to be my last show, which why I would have enjoyed that being my last show a lot more than Saint Motel being my last show, because I didn't know who they were when I went to the show. And I got overly upset at the show because the second, the opener was done, the tour manager, head of security, came out and gave us the set list. He said, it's a little different tonight. This is the song you're able to go out and shoot for. And it was song 12. I'm like, we have to wait 12 songs to shoot this. He said, yep. I said, okay, I've never listened to this band. How am I going to know when it's song 12? He said, when the aliens and the astronauts come out. I said, what? Or something, or maybe dinosaurs. And I was like, huh? He's like, you'll see. And yeah, he was right. I knew exactly when song 12 was because the stage was full of them. I was like, what the hell did I agree to shoot? Like, I texted Madison and said, what the hell music are you listening to? She said, I don't know. I said, here's what I'm dealing with. She's like, oh, yeah, I wanted to shoot that for the opener. I was like, this is horrible. Why am I here? I don't like this. I was just so...
If it makes you feel any better, the We Car show, all the lights were like that. I mean, like, it was a lot of strobes. I shot the Double Wears Prada, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times, and every time their lights have been great, and I got maybe 2 usable photos. And that was after both my SD cards that never fill up, completely filled up.
Right.
So I had photos from the show on both of them, so I couldn't just format one of them. And I didn't have any extras, so I had to manually delete them while they're still playing. And I'm like, oh my god, the whole night was a nightmare.
That's my next question, I guess. We know least favorite venue is probably the Emerson, is up there. Favorite venue? Hoosier Dome?
Favorite venue? It's a tie between the Hoosier Dome and Bottom Lounge, because the Bottom Lounge for me is like the Hoosier Dome.
I haven't been to Bottom Lounge before. I've never shot there.
I love it. Tiny photo pit, and security, when you first meet them, security is kind of like mean and rough, but they're honestly like the nicest dudes, and they crack me up. And they're really great there. I love all the bands that come through there, because the Used did an intimate club tour.
Yeah.
So they played the Bottom Lounge, and that show was sick. It's a 700 cap room. I saw Taking Back Sunday play there a few years ago for an After Riot Fest set. And I didn't have a photo pass for that, but Bottom Lounge will let you take your camera in.
Nice.
As long as you don't sneak in front of the barricade or anything.
Right. That's the best.
So. Yeah, and
awesome.
The doors open while the festival's still going on. So, there's nobody there, and it's just Sleep on It and Taking Back Sunday. So I got barricade, and then this girl behind me kept, spilling her beer all down my back and, hitting me from behind. So I just, moved out of the way after, the first half of the show. But I ended up getting some really cool photos.
Nice.
I saw Architects there on their Spring All Our Gods of Abandoned Us tour. Shot from behind the barricade on that, but I had a little, I think it was a 17 to 50 millimeter lens at the time, something like that. I can't remember what it was.
That's all you need for shows. I mean, honestly, you don't need it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of really big bands play at the Bottom Lounge, so it always makes a really cool setting. And I've also seen a lot of really big bands play at the Hoosier Dome. I've seen Wage War at the Hoosier Dome.
Yeah, they get some big names in there, honestly. They
do. Seth Keen has done a really good job, help building this place up and getting bigger bands in there.
They get bands that I would be afraid to see at the Hoosier Dome, honestly.
Yeah.
they get bands that are not safe to have at that place. It's like when the Dillinger Escape Plan played the Emerson. I was like, that is the worst idea I've ever heard. It's like, why? It's concrete and it's sloped. That's terrible. No.
Yeah, I'm forever upset that Stick to Your Guns was supposed to play the Dome, but the week of, I think their vocalist got sick, so they had to cancel shows for a whole week.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So we didn't get to see them there, and the Acacia Stray was supposed to play at the Dome 3 days before my birthday, and I'm like, oh, hell, I am about to die. I'm not even going to see 27. Cancel. And Knuckle Puck was also supposed to play there. I think in March, or March 22nd or something. That show got moved till May, and now, it hasn't been canceled yet, but we know where that's going.
So do you do anything besides concerts? Do you portraits, weddings, stuff like that, senior photos, or is it mainly just shows?
It's mainly shows that I've done. I've done some senior portraits. I've done a couple of just like regular portraits, some couples, families.
Sure.
I've done weddings for my friends because I've second shot 2 weddings in one weekend before for people that I didn't know, but they were all like really nice. But
yeah.
When it comes to weddings, those just make me really nervous and trying to figure out pricing on it, and also the fact that yes, you will need a second shooter.
I don't know how to quote.
You're always going to need a second. Yeah, I don't know how to quote either. I don't know how to quote for anything. Like I try to keep it like as basic as possible. Like you know, because most of the time, like there are shoots I do where I'll price for an hour, but we don't go for an hour. We go for like 45 minutes. So that's why I always offer like a 30-minute like mini session. Because like even just out of that, I can send 80-something photos out, but that also includes like black and white.
Well, it's amazing how much you can actually shoot in such a short period of time. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Because there have been some people where like maybe we didn't go the full hour, and like they're not mad about it, but they're just like, "Are you sure we're done?" They're like, "Well, we'll pay you for an hour, but," and I'm like, "Just trust me.
Yeah,
you know, we got it done in 45 minutes, like these are all the photos that you're gonna need," and then I send out 80+ photos, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I see." And I'm like, "Yeah."
I did a private event for somebody. Somebody wanted me to shoot it for them. I was like, okay, and like when I got there to the event, I think I was paid for like 3 or 4 hours, and after like 2.5, I was like, all right, cool, we're good. And the person in charge was like, what? No, you need to keep going. Like, we're paying you for 3 or 4 hours. You're good. I was like, no, trust me. Please don't make me shoot for that long. Like, you don't. I'm like, well, how many of you shot? I was like, a couple thousand. Like, in such a short time, it's like, I've been here an hour and a half. Like, yes, way too many. Like, trust me, you're going to get hundreds of photos out of this. Like, people don't get how many you can. That's why I hate shooting full sets sometimes, because like you get way too many shots.
Right, and you have to go through, cull all those photos, delete the ones that I'm at the point where I've got like I have 3 external hard drives now.
Yeah.
Only one of them is full. The other 2, well, one I just got for Christmas. It's like a 1 terabyte Lackey hard drive, which I fucking love it. And then I have a 4 terabyte that just stays plugged into the wall at all times. Like that's the backup for everything. The backup to the backup.
Yep.
And I have so many photos on there. Like I have folders of photos that I haven't even gone through and edited because they're just from shows that I was there to like hang out with a friend. They gave me a photo pass because I had my camera with me, but they're like death metal bands that I don't listen to, nor will I ever try to listen to again because that show is fucking horrific.
Yeah.
God, it was so bad. It's like German death metal or something. I don't know.
God.
It was One of the bands ended up having a pretty decent production, but the rest of them was. And it was at Concord Music Hall, which is
God,
Chicago. They're so mean. No re-entry, $30 to park, and the second the show is over, they're like screaming in your face to get your car out of the parking lot, or they're having it towed.
I shot Skillet, Thousand for Crutch, and Devour the Day there back in 2016, and it was the venue itself isn't bad, but it's like I feel out of place when I shoot in other cities sometimes because it's like it's like here we all have our regular shooters. And you're the odd person out because nobody knows who the fuck you are. You know? And it's like, where are you from? I was like, Indy. Like, why are you here? It's like, because the tour didn't go there. Like, it's that easy.
I'm in Chicago all the fucking time for that shit. Nothing ever comes through here.
Not for your scene. No, not really. I mean, who the Dome gets a decent amount of, the Emerson or the Citadel, they get a decent amount, but there's still a lot of tours that I've stopped looking at dates when I get press releases because none of them are here. You know, it's unless it's like an arena rock 80s band or radio rock. They just don't come here. So I mean, when this whole pandemic's over, what shows are you looking forward to doing that are either still on, or what bands are you hoping go back on tour that are not My Chemical Romance? Because I know you're just You're devastated about that tour right now, and I know it.
I know. I'm so stressed about it because I literally, a friend of mine, I made some posts on Facebook saying like I wanted an MCR.
You were going to go to
California.
You were going to go to California for one of the shows.
I had been unemployed for a month when they announced that, and I was so mad because like the two bands that I said I would always go to the reunion show for were the Ghost Inside and MCR. That's not fucking fair that they had it in the same year at the same venue. But I literally
wasn't Lindsay at their reunion show though? Didn't Lindsay?
She was.
She didn't take you with her?
There's a picture of us somewhere on her Instagram. Like, we were standing there, and we still didn't know who the openers were because they were all surprised. And they all ended up being acoustic bands.
You did go to the Ghost Inside one then?
Yeah, I did go to that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was so sick. I think that's the most I've ever spent on a show. Because the ticket was $40.
That's not bad.
No, but the plane ticket was about $400. The
Jesus
Airbnb
Christ.
was about, yeah.
Why?
And well, that wasn't the cheapest ticket price, but it was the best airline out of the bunch, and we could have like one free checked bag and then a carry-on.
Well, that tour
I don't
was
think
a big
any
deal.
of us checked our stuff.
That tour was a big deal too with what happened with the band. I mean, we weren't sure that band was going to come back.
No.
I mean, honestly.
When they started posting those practice videos, like, I could feel it. And then the second they were like, everyone get ready. And I'm just like, oh, my God. I was at work when those tickets went on sale. And everybody, because it was back when I still worked at Starbucks, and everyone, they knew what I do. They knew I'm like a giant concert geek and band geek. And I looked at my shift, and there were 4 of us on the floor, so I knew if we went down to 3 for a couple minutes, it'd be fine. My store manager is in the back. She also knows that I'm a geek. She was my shift at another store at one point, so she knew what was up. But I'm like sitting back there on my phone with my debit card in hand, watching it count down on the screen for when the tickets go on sale. And she's like, what are you doing? She's like, are you on break right now? And I was like, no, and I will explain it to you after this is over. You just got to not look at me right now.
Trust me. Go with me on this. It will be worth it for you. It will be worth it for you.
If I start crying, don't pay attention.
That's why I tell my boss, I'm like, trust me, this will be worth it for you in the end. It has nothing to do with me. But it does, because it has to do with me. And if I'm happy, I do a better job. So this is all for you. I always find a way to turn it around. Like, if I go, I'll be happier. So I'll do a better job for you. So in turn, you should let me be off work so I can go to this. So you're happier at work because I'll be happy.
Exactly.
She's like, why didn't you just tell me you wanted to go? And I would have said, yes. Can I be off? Yes. All right, cool. We're good. So, you know.
Dude, when I did Sonic Temple,
oh God,
because I tried to do it for Stage Right Secrets, but they ended up finding someone else before they could get back to me, and I was like, damn, that's a bummer. Literally the day before, Logan White from Substream Magazine, I don't even know how I saw his post. I don't even think I was following him on Instagram or Twitter at the time. I just saw it, and he's like, I need a photographer for this weekend ASAP. And I was like, I know I'm scheduled to work Friday and Saturday, but whatever. So I messaged him, sent him my portfolio, and I was like, I'm available all weekend for this festival. Please let me do it for you, please. And he was like, absolutely, you got it. And I was with my store manager, and I was just like, I need Friday and Saturday off so I can go shoot a festival. And we found someone from our store to cover my shift. I was supposed to work at another store on Saturday, and we called around. I mean, she literally stepped off the floor for, I think, like 20 minutes. And, like, made phone calls to everyone possible. It was, like, helping me. She's like, I can't find anyone. She's like, the deal is, like, you have to find someone. If you do a no-call, no-show, that's going to cause problems.
Right.
It's going to be a problem. And I was like, Michael, I understand that, and I get that you're my boss. But also, I'm not going to skip out on shooting Foo Fighters and Bring Me the Horizon. You got me fucked up, man. Like, I'm not. I'm doing it. Like,
you did not get to shoot Bring Me the Horizon. They did not play. They did not play. That's how it was for me with Scars on Broadway. I was like, sweet. I've been wanting to see them for 12 years. God damn it, they got canceled.
Yeah, I was
really.
Because like that was the same week that I shot Bring Me the Horizon in Indy, and so I'm like geeking out. I'm like, I get to shoot my favorite band twice in 1 week.
Yeah.
Yes. And then they didn't even say Yeah, they let us back in there, like, at the time they were supposed to start. Didn't even say their set was canceled, just said Joan Jett goes on at this time, Foo Fighters at this time.
Nobody knew what was going on. It was so...
Yeah.
Oh, my wife was so pissed. She's like, can we go home? I'm like, no, I'm seeing Foo. She's like, why? I said, because it's Foo, and I've been denied every time I'm seeing them. So we watched 3 songs and said, all right, I saw them, let's go home. I said, really? I said, we got a 3-hour drive home, and we work tomorrow. Let's get the fuck out of here. I saw them.
Right. No, I don't think I had to work until 11 the next day, but I had just worked for like a week straight before.
Oh, man.
Sunday was supposed to be my day off, and then I was supposed to work like another 6 days in a row. And so I literally did the festival like all weekend. Didn't even stay for all of Foo Fighters set, because I always play a 2-hour-long set. And I'm like, Everlong is my favorite, and they don't play it until the very, very end. So I was like, I got a 3-hour drive. I think I got home by like 1 or 2. No, it wasn't bad at all. And then I went to work at like 11 the next day. But just, I mean, that I was so, because working at Starbucks is stressful. It shouldn't be stressful, but it is.
I can see that would be bad.
I think I made it until I think Friday was my day off, and I think I made it until Wednesday before I called off and said that I was sick, when really I was just so stressed out of my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I've been working for like ever. I don't remember my last day off. I'm sunburnt. I'm tired. My feet are covered. My feet were covered in blisters. Like, after the first day, I had these giant Band-Aids just all over my feet, in between my toes, on my heels, and I went to work with that on Monday, and I could hardly walk, and they had me doing customer support, so I'm like running around trying to do everything. They put me, like, I was just running around for days, and I'm just like, I can't do this. I literally looked at one of my shifts. I was like, I'm calling off tomorrow. I'm just warning you now, because it's going to be on your shift, and you're just going to have to deal with it. I mean, I must have looked like crazy or something, because she's like, go home and drink and sleep. Yes.
My first Rock on the Range, which was Sonic Temple before it was Sonic Temple, I actually ended up getting heat exhaustion and had to be off work for because I shot the festival, but I did like 10 interviews on top of shooting that festival.
Damn.
Yeah. Never again. The next year I said, I'm not doing interviews. Did like
I've never done interviews before. They make me too nervous.
You're doing one right now.
Well, that's true. Well, I mean, I couldn't actually, like, interview a band.
It's not that bad.
Stare at them.
It's not that bad. I've had Guns N' Roses, Disturbed, all those bands. It's not that hard. It's easy. It's just like this. It's easy. You know, you just talk to them and then have to pretend that they're not who they are. You know? So.
Oh, my God, no. Wait. I got to share this real quick, because this is my favorite moment from Sonic Temple, aside from Dave Grohl being right in my face. But, so I hadn't had coffee, like, at all that weekend. And even before I started working at Starbucks, like, coffee was my lifeline.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any at all that weekend. We're waiting for Foo Fighters. It's me, Logan White, and I want to say her name is Tanisha. She's a merch girl for Youngblood.
Okay.
He had performed earlier that year, I think.
Blew me away.
And
yeah.
But we're all sitting there. We're in the media tent, and you know, you just if you walk out in the media, like you just go left. Like, back there is all the catering.
Yep.
And I was just like, guys, I need coffee, and they're like, just go to catering. Just walk in there. Don't look anyone in the eye. Just like walk in there.
Act like you're supposed to. Act like you're supposed to be. It's a whole. Act like you've been here before. You know.
I literally just like sped past the security guard. He looked at me. He was about to stop me, and all I did was speed past. I'm like walking past people from like fucking Bring Me to Horizon and Bear Juice, and I'm just like, oh my God. And I like walk back there, and I'm getting coffee, and I probably looked like either really excited or really frazzled because somebody's just like staring at me, and I'm like, please don't look at me. I just really want some caffeine right now, man. I just walked away, and I'm like, I feel so much better now.
That was the first year I did Rock on the Range. It was 2012, and the headliners were Shinedown. Rob Zombie was headlining it. Shinedown was there. Manson was there, and it was like the first major, huge thing I'd ever shot or covered, really, on my own as in the front row. And my buddy and I are in the media tent, and we're just in there. We're looking around. Like, okay, well, there's Sean Five from Zombie. There's the Five Finger Death Punch guys. There's the Shinedown guys. I looked. I was like, why the fuck did they let me in here for free? This is the worst idea ever. Like, it's just they're all just walking around. Yeah, it was like, this is, and then we're standing on top of, back then Columbus Crew Stadium, Mothbray Stadium, just looking out over the sea of like 40, 50, 60,000 people. And I was like, this just doesn't seem real, man. Like, how are we here? He's like, I don't know, but thanks for the free ticket. I was like, you got it, dude. Glad you're always thinking about me.
Yeah, I was literally in the media tent talking about Beartooth there. Like, I don't even remember what I was saying. I think I was geeking out. Like, they're one of my favorite bands. I've been seeing them since they were doing house shows. Like,
wow. That
band, I literally would not be where I am without that band.
Yeah.
And it's the craziest story. But I'm literally, like, I think I was telling someone that story. I was just like, I've always wanted to shoot one of their hometown shows. I just didn't know it was going to end up in a fucking stadium.
Right.
It was so cool. And I'm, like, geeking and editing pictures. And Caleb Stelmo's just walking behind me while I'm geeking out about him and his band. And I'm just like, oh, my God.
Nice. I
hope he didn't hear any of that.
Well, I was covering back in 2013, I think it was. Had to have been 13. It's the year Randy from Lamb of God got out of prison. And I was covering the Lamb of God Hate Breed in Flame show, the Egyptian Room, and I was leaving in Flame's dressing room from doing an interview. And my friend and I are walking out of the green room, out to the concourse, and I just hear this voice behind me said, "Hey man, wait, stop." I said, "Oh, that can't be good." I turned around, and I just hear the voice say, "What kind of camera is that?" I turn around and look up, and it's Randy from Lamb of God.
Oh my God.
And he's like, "Dude, what kind of camera is that?" I was like, "Yeah, it's just the beginner thing. There's just the Canon T3. He's like, "Dude, I have the same camera, man. That's a great camera, dude. Hey, man, enjoy the show." I was like, "You okay?" And we walked. My friend was like, "Who was that?" I was like, "That was Randy from the Lamb of God." He's just like, "Really?" I said, "He's the nicest person ever."
What a great guy. I love
so
that.
Nice. Same thing with Corey Taylor. I did the roast before Rock on the Range in 2014, and I'm on the red carpet, and I'm from Iowa, so I'm on a red carpet for Corey Taylor, and I've been trying to get an interview with the guy for years. It'd be a big deal. It's already a big deal, but for where I'm from, bigger deal. And his publicist walks through, she's like, "Okay, Corey's going to come through, but he only has time for 2 more interviews." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Wait, I'm 4th in line. Fuck." So I just run up, and I just cut in line. I was like, "Nope, sorry, you're going to wait." I got the last interview with Corey Taylor of the weekend, and it was the best thing ever, and then I lost the audio. Yeah.
No!
Yeah, I got home. I got back to the hotel and uploaded it to YouTube and sent the link to all my friends back in Iowa. I was like, "Guys, check it out. Biggest thing." I'm like, they're like, "No fucking way." It's like, "No, for real. Check out the audio." One of my buddies is like, "Man, fuck you." It's like, "What?" He's like, it's not a Corey Taylor. It's an audience." And it's like, crap. I forgot to hit record. And all I did was record every other interview and then the roast in its entirety. And to this day, I do not have the interview audio of me and Corey Taylor. I just have a picture. I have pictures of the interview and then a picture with him, and that's it. Like,
damn.
I legit I had to call my webmaster guy, who's a friend from the Bible college I went to. I said, "I quit." It's like, "What?" I said, "I quit. I'm shutting the site down." He said, "Why?" I said, and I told him, he's like, "Dude, you're overreacting." I was like, "I'm not overreacting. I interviewed Corey Taylor. The interview is fucking gone. What the fuck is the point? The interview weekend's going to suck. I quit. Site's done. I quit." He's like, "Sleep on it. You'll be fine." I'm still not fine. It's been 6 years. I'm still not fine.
But you didn't quit, and that's what matters.
No, it was the same thing when I didn't go shoot Kiss and Motley Crue. I was like, I quit. My wife's like, "Why are you haven't talked in 3 days?" I said, "I know." She's like, "It'll be okay." I was like, "It won't be okay." And to this day, still don't get approved for Kiss anymore. One time I got approved, I didn't know. And yeah, I got Motley Crue, but oh my God. Yeah, we've all got those weekends. But it was a great weekend. I mean, yeah, it was fun. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, what are you looking forward to the most when the pandemic is over? I guess to wrap it up, I mean, when the pandemic is finally over, which they're saying maybe in like a month or two, maybe by like June, but like what are you looking forward to the most when it comes to shooting shows again? Because the easy answer is shooting shows. We're all looking forward to that the most. But what is it about concerts that you're looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to just like going and seeing live music again with all my friends.
Yeah.
I really miss the vibe. I miss like,
yeah.
You know, there have been times like around this time last year, I had to do something really hard that just like shook me to my core as a human being, and just had me. I was like I completely unraveled as a person, and I went and saw Beartooth at the Mercury Ballroom, and I just remember like I do too. Their lights are so great.
Yeah.
But I just remember like being there, like, you know, after shooting, like you can just stand off to the side, and like all the anxiety I've been feeling for like the last couple weeks, like my anxiety had like peaked at that point for the first time in my life. Like it was so bad, and I just remember like the music or just like the bass, like everything coming out of the speakers, just like drowned it all out. Like the tightness in my chest just like wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And like that's just what music does for me. Like sometimes like I'll get to a show and I'll be anxious because maybe the shots aren't right. But like that night, the shots actually weren't completely that great that night. Some of them were. Some of them were just couldn't recover.
Yeah, and they don't have to be. It's the experience. I mean.
Yeah, the experience was great. Like I miss shows with my friends. I miss going up to Chicago and seeing everyone. We got a little group that shoots at the bottom lounge all the time. And then we sit at McDonald's for like 2 hours afterwards.
Nice.
Eat ice cream and fries.
They have a working ice cream machine there? That's where those are.
Yeah, it's weird. Like it'll be midnight and you can get ice cream there. It blows my fucking mind. They're always busy in there though. Like their drive-thru is constantly slammed.
I think,
and it's really not in like a busy part of Chicago either. It's like
that's probably why.
Right. Yeah.
I think I'm looking forward to just, you know, that moment where you're in the pit. There's that like nanosecond, that split second from the moment it's between when the lights go off, the band comes out, and before the crowd goes crazy. Like a very minimal second where it's just dead silence for a second before everything just blows up is what I miss the most. And then I just want to throw a bitch in the mosh pit again. That's all it is. I just want to throw a motherfucker in that pit because nothing makes you feel better than there's a crowd surfer or some teenage kid. You just throw that bitch across, you know, just fucking throw him. Yeah, that is the best feeling in the world because you feel so fucking strong when you do that, and then you realize you're not, you know, and like that is fun. You know, I mean, I've had breakups happen, and I go to a show, and I throw a crowd surfer, feel better. You know, it's just like there's something about being in the pit and just getting bumped and pushed and punched and kicked, and it just makes you feel invincible because you come out of it. You know, that's what I miss. And then just there's a difference between being in the crowd and shooting in the photo pit. There's an adrenaline rush that you get when you're in that photo pit that you can't get anywhere else. And because a lot of it at the metal shows is you're like trying not to get kicked in the back of the head by a crowd surfer coming over the barricade, that you have to like keep looking around you. And it's just, you know, and then that moment where the singer gets down into your lens or the guitar player, bass player poses up for you or jumps right in front of you. And it's just like you get the shot of the night and you're like, I'm good. Like there's just so many things that I'm looking forward to. And I don't even care what show it is anymore. I don't care if it's fucking Breaking Benjamin, Five Finger Death Punch, Metallica, or just like some local band from Indy. I just want to do a show, you know.
Same.
So
I really just want to. Yeah, I just want to get back to shooting. I just want to get back to the vibe. Like I want to see my friends get back on the stage again. Like Plans. I'm either with Plans or Pickwick Commons. Yeah. But I love the energy at both those shows. Like it's two different crowds for the most part, but it's like everyone's friends. And it's the vibes are just always good.
They're two different crowds, but they're different crowds, but they're the same crowd at the same time. If that makes sense. I mean, we'll get there. It'll happen.